As summer comes to a close in St. Louis, the Cardinals find themselves in the middle of the wild card race. The Birds enter this pivotal series with San Diego leading by a half game for the second National League wild card spot. The Cardinals ride a 5-game win streak that has the offense scoring over 6.5 runs per game. But the Padres come to town, featuring the likely NL MVP Fernando Tatis Jr. Wild card positioning on the line. Padres and Cardinals starts right now on Bally Sports Midwest. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. All-important weekend series kicks off tonight at Busch Stadium. The San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals. And welcome to the broadcast booth here at Busch Stadium with Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes with us as well. Cardinals, Ricky, they're winning games. Pitching has been good. The offense really good. And led by their two big guys in the middle, and that's Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt.
Two six-time All-Stars. These guys really what the Cardinals offense was built around, them producing big. Goldie certainly did it in New York. Last 5 games, 5 extra base hits, and he's also scored 8 runs. He runs the bases extremely well, and he's really been as hot as any player in the National League since the All-Star game. And, of course, you've got Tyler O'Neill in the middle. He's doing well as well. But we're going to skip over him and go to Arenado, another 6-time All-Star, 4 extra base hits for him in the last 5 games. And this duo is hot together. Exactly what Cardinal fans have been waiting for all season long.
Miles Michaelis is on the mound tonight for St. Louis. Vince Velasquez for the Padres. Pitching, offense, and how about the D? A look at that is coming up next on Bally Sports. On Bally Sports Midwest, brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. The banks of the Mississippi, and a beautiful night for baseball and an all-important game. The San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals, game 1 of this weekend series. It's 84 degrees. And with Jim Hayes, Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Away we go with this weekend series, and you can feel it. It's like playoff baseball right now.
Well, it's certainly not October yet, but it feels like it in a lot of ways. And the Cardinals have managed with their latest stretch, winning 7 out of 8, 5 straight games, that they've managed to make their late September games meaningful. You always want to have meaningful September games, but you prefer that you have meaningful late September games, and that's where we are.
There's a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for Miles Michaelis. And at the top of the Padre lineup, Jurickson, Profar, then Tatis, Machado, Frazier, the former Pirate, Tommy Pham, Hosmer, Nola, Grisham, and they just picked up Vince Velasquez, and he'll get a start tonight. And Mike Shildt and the Cardinals have won 5 in a row. They split with Los Angeles, won 2 of 3 against Cincinnati, and a sweep in the Big Apple. And the first pitch. And we're underway in the weekend series.
Last 17 games that the Cardinals have played, they've played against playoff contention teams. You can add 3 more to the list with the Padres here. I mean, it has not been an easy stretch, but it's been a good one.
And Profar looks at a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. The switch hitter playing right field tonight. 4 home runs and has driven in 31 on the year. Cardinals with a shift on the right side of the infield. That's a beauty in there for a strike. Toyota Key to the game with Rick Horton.
That'll be Miles Michaelis avoiding the big inning. That's really been his problem the last 4 starts. In fact, he said after his last game in the Zoom call, he said he'd like to have a major league rule change to where you could actually just throw out an inning, because that's really been his experience. And he's been good other than those 1 bad innings.
And a count of 2-2. 2.5 games separating 4 teams in the wild card chase. Cardinals, Padres, Phillies are in New York, and the Reds hosting the Dodgers tonight. And a ground ball hit to the right side, taken by Goldie. A flip to Michaelis, and the first out. As they currently sit, and this is going to be up and down from here on out to the very end of the season. It's what makes it so much fun.
Well, if you like scoreboard watching, this is a perfect September for that in the National League, as all those teams are so close. The Mets, of course, have trailed a bit because of losing 3 to the Cardinals, so that they've certainly had a hand in making the Mets 5 games out. But plenty of teams, the Philadelphia Phillies, still can be very tough, and we know the Reds have an outstanding lineup and have some good weapons in their bullpen, so it's going to be a great race.
So 1 out and nobody on, and here's Tatis and a swing and a miss. You look at the gaudy numbers that he's had, and they are very good. He's 1 home run shy of 40, driven in 91, hitting .289, and that includes, by the way, 3 stints on the injured list. So 3 different times he has been on the 10-day IL and still could be your MVP of the National League. The fabulous talent that's been dealing with a shoulder injury. At times you'll see him in the outfield trying to protect that. And it's grounded to the Cardinals shortstop, Edmundo Sosa. Well, the Cardinal defense has been tremendous, so why not let him hit it? O'Neill, Bader, Carlson in the outfield. And Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. On the infield, Arenado, Sosa, Edman, and Goldie. Yachty behind the plate, and here is Manny Machado.
Some fabulous defensive plays in that Mets series.
Awesome. The double play in Game 2 started by Goldschmidt in extra innings. Lars Nootbaar robbing Pete Alonso. Sosa. Yeah. So 2 outs and nobody on as Machado takes a ball.
Goldie's double play in extra inning was so important. That's what we keep talking about. But he had another unassisted double play where he tagged the runner who was coming back. It was Baez, I believe. And that was a pure instinct play as well. Goldie, in my mind, is a Gold Glover. I think your center fielder's a Gold Glover, too.
2-0 the count. Since August, Machado hitting above 300, and he pulls it foul. In his career, 22 games, which is included times with Baltimore and now with San Diego, 318, and the 9 home runs in 22 games. Manny Machado. Since 2015, only 2 players in the sport have played 990 games or more. And you've got 2 of them right here, Paul Goldschmidt and Manny Machado. Rarely get a day off and in there every single day and putting up numbers. That's fouled back just below us, and a 3-2 pitch upcoming from Miles Michaelis. I think we've seen at times with Miles not quite as sharp with the breaking ball, right. And you see that little hump in it. That's all about, I'm sure the rust of just all that time off. Getting a feel for that pitch again. 3-2 off of the glove of Michaelis. Edman bare hands, and they get him. And that'll go 1-4-3. O'Neill, Nolan Arenado, Yadier Molina, Carlson, Sosa, Bader, Michaelis. And the Cardinals will face Vince Velasquez, the former Philly, just picked up and he gets picked up and thrown right into a huge ball game.
Yeah, and he really did not finish well with the Phillies. 4 of his last 5 starts, he gave up at least 5 runs in those games. So a lot of runs, high ERA, over 12 in those last starts. So the Phillies, even though, Dan, they're in contention, they DFA'd him. They got rid of him. And so he was out there for somebody to take, and the Padres are really desperate to get starting pitching help because of their injuries.
They started off the season well, was 2-0, bunch of strikeouts, and then the wheels came off, and now he's in San Diego. Cardinals are trying to match their longest winning streak of the season with a 6th consecutive win tonight. And in the sweep of the Mets, they scored 25 runs in those 3 games. And Tommy Edman takes a ball low.
Cardinal fans, of course, know that sometimes a change of uniform will get you back on track. Jay Happ, John Lester, certainly been true of them.
No question. And the 1-0 pitch to Tommy, taken for a ball outside. Ricky, I went back and looked it up. It's been 894 days the last time we saw the San Diego Padres in St. Louis.
That's odd, isn't it?
It's crazy. It was the home opener in 2019. And we were just learning about this guy named Fernando Tatis Jr. We had heard about him. And I remember going down and talking to Skip Schumacher. I said, man, oh man, that guy's got a cannon. He said, you haven't seen anything yet. And boy, was he right. The 2-1. Fouled back in. It's 2-2.
What I remember most about Skip's comments, and really from their broadcasters as well at the time, they were traveling, of course, different world, different time, but they said that
as young as he is, he's emerging as the leader on this team. He's a guy that people just want to follow. Even though he's young, he's so gifted, but he's mature beyond his years.
And the Padres now with a shift on the right side with 2 strikes. Exaggerated shift, the 2-2. And Tommy pulls it fair under the glove of Eric Hosmer off the sidewall. And Edman in with his 40th double of the year. 40 doubles, Tommy Edman.
And nice to see him come through against the Padres, a San Diego native who has not hit the Padres well at all. He's really struggled against them. But he turned on this pitch, up and in. Got the head out, got it just inside the first base bag. And once it gets into the outfield, you know Tommy Edman's going to have at least 2.
How about that? 40 doubles for the switch hitting Tommy Edman, who's finishing now with a flourish at the top of the St. Louis lineup. Here is Goldie. Popped his 26th home run of the season against the Mets. The 40 doubles tops in the National League and then ties Jeimer Candelario for the Major League lead. The 9th switch hitter in Cardinals history with 40 or more doubles, and first since Felix Jose in Cardinals history since 1991.
And we talk about doubles, Danny, and you have to think of them as power numbers. I mean, home runs are not the only powered stats. One swing of the bat, he's in scoring position. The Cardinals are threatening.
So July 30th, the last time that Velasquez appeared in a major league game. He had been 0-4 with an ERA in his final 5 starts, near 13. And you talked about the lack of success that he had, and here he is. Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
When he was a rookie with the Phillies, or early in his career with the Phillies, he had a 16 strikeout game against the Padres. I think they remembered that. It's like, hey, maybe we'll get that guy someday.
Sometimes teams do that.
They do.
The 2-1. Goldie, base hit into left center.
Here comes Tommy Edman. He'll score 1-0 as the Cardinals strike first.
Well, we talked about Paul Goldschmidt in the open and how hot he has been since the All-Star break. He got a breaking ball, down and away, drove it. Tommy Edman at first wasn't sure whether that would be playable, started back towards the bag. But with his speed and with the left fielder going into left center, he was still able to score.
RBI number 87 for Goldie. Here's O'Neill running a 5-game hitting streak coming into play. And there's strike one. I was thinking of you in game 2 of the Mets series.
I can't wait to hear this.
Well, O'Neill hits the home run, and all I could think of was Terry Pendleton. Then all I could think about was you being a part of that great 87 team. And the September 11th home run by Terry Pendleton, and a famous one. And I thought, well, maybe O'Neill's is kind of like that, too. It was a little reminiscent.
Well, it's interesting, and I think I've told you this story before, but in the bullpen in Shea Stadium, when Terry Pendleton hit that home run, we thought the game was over. The Mets were in lockdown, and I didn't see it. Let's put it that way. I was all packed up, ready to go in the runway in old Shea Stadium. I did see Tyler O'Neill's home run, but I didn't see Terry Pendleton's.
That's what made me think of it.
Don't tell Terry that.
I won't. I wouldn't do that to you. All kinds of room on that right side of the infield as the Padres shift on the left side, and pretty deep here at Busch Stadium for Tyler O'Neill. No balls and 2 strikes. Well, the Padres split with the Giants, and in their game yesterday, it was a bullpen game. 5 different pitchers with 20 or more pitches in the game. They just lost Blake Snell to an abdominal strain. Chris Paddock, elbow. He's on the IL. I mean, they've had a lot of injuries, too. The 0-2 pitch, pulled foul.
Bullpen games, to me, sound like a great idea until the next day.
Isn't that the truth? For instance, Mark Melancon threw 25 pitches. You know, so how does that play? Maybe not tonight, but tomorrow into Sunday. And he's been really good.
The 0-2 off the plate. We haven't done a game in a while, Ricky, together, but Mike Schilt puts O'Neill sandwiched between Goldie and Arenado. Do you like this?
I do like it, and I certainly like it when he's doing damage, and he has been. We highlighted Arenado and Goldie in the open, but Tyler O'Neill was a force in New York.
And the 1-2 inside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And here's why I like it. There's no rest for the pitcher. Think about that. When you've got these 3 guys back to back to back, you get very concerned about not hanging a pitch. It's a lot of pressure. Can't make a mistake. And if the table setter Tommy Edman's doing his job as he did today, it just spells trouble for the pitcher.
The 2-2 just got a piece. Arenado is on deck. A double for Tommy Edman to lead it off for St. Louis. RBI single by Goldie. From 0-2 to 2-2 here on Tyler O'Neill. The 2-2 pitch by Velasquez. And a fly ball hit down the right field line, but out of play. How about what the Cardinals did the other night against the shift of the Mets? It was O'Neill. It was Goldie. Just
3 in a row.
Poking it right through the right side.
Well, that's one of the positives about Tyler O'Neill from a year ago. He's a guy that's got a better two-strike approach.
Of course, we talk about Bader in that way a lot, but O'Neill's been just as good at developing a good two-strike approach, and there's the right side of the infield. A lot of space there. And if it's a pitch away, he's not averse to just hitting the ball hard on the ground that direction.
The 2-2. O'Neill gets underneath it, pops it up left side. Machado looks at it sail into the seats, and a souvenir. The Padres defensively tonight: Tommy Pham, Trent Grisham, and Profar in the outfield. Machado, Tatis, Frazier, Hosmer on the infield. Austin Nola behind the plate. And Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Padres are hopeful to get Jake Cronenworth back at some point this weekend. Suffered a fractured finger last Friday against the Dodgers. 10th pitch of the at bat right here to O'Neill. The 2-2. O'Neill cranks it out to deep left. Oh my! It's an absolute rocket into left. Tyler O'Neill, number 27. 3-0 St. Louis.
We said Tyler's not afraid to hit the ball the other way, but I think he prefers this. The line drive home run over the bullpen. And that got out in a hurry. 1,001, 1,002. Big fly.
The Cardinals have picked up where they left off in New York, and it's a 3-0 lead. Still nobody out. And here is Nolan Arenado. Arenado with a ground ball that's hit to third. Machado makes the play and the first out in the home half of the first. Tyler O'Neill has driven in 7 in his last 3 games.
So again, we skipped over him in the open, but he had 2 hits in each one of those games in New York. That New York series was amazing. So many good things worked in the Cardinals' way. Good bullpen work. Phenomenal defense. Timely hitting. Cardinals hit over 350 with runners in scoring position in that series.
Yanni hits it down the left field line, but pulled foul. It's a 9th straight game that the Cardinals have hit a home run in, and that matches their season high. And the 0-1. Nothing in 2. There it is. Most home runs allowed. 9 innings pitched. The average, and Velasquez on a list that normally you don't want to be on. Off the plate, and it's 1-2. They're in the top of the 6th, and Cincinnati a 1-0 lead against Walker Buehler and the Dodgers. Luis Castillo making that start for the Reds, and that's a swing and a miss. And the first strikeout for Velasquez.
I think Yachty might have been looking for an off-speed pitch here because he's late, and he also chased it a bit. Velasquez just trying to figure it out right now. Seems to me his slider's not as sharp as I remember it.
Carlson has driven in at least a run in each of the last 4 games. Next hit will be number 150 in his career with 56 career extra base hits and a strike. Pretty amazing, but only 3 Cardinals have 150 hits, 50 extra base hits through 170 to start their career. Joe Medwick, Stan the Man, Albert Pujols, and it could be, with his next hit, Dylan Carlson. You don't realize it because he's fairly quiet and does things in a quiet manner, but he's had a nice rookie year.
Be interesting to see over the years if he's quiet right now because he's 22, or is he going to be quiet at 25, 26, 27? We'll see.
And then a strikeout of Carlson, back-to-back Ks. Velasquez. The Cardinals get a leadoff double from Tommy Edman. RBI single, Goldie. 2-run blast, Tyler O'Neill. 3-0 after an inning.
And it's 3-0 St. Louis, and we check in with Jim Hayes.
Danny, Tommy Pham making his first trip back to St. Louis since the trade that sent him to Tampa. Tommy told me he wasn't sure what kind of reaction he'd get from the crowd tonight, but he told me, I still love Cardinal fans. When I got to the hotel last night, one of the staff said, welcome back, Tommy. That made my day. Pham describes the Padres' recent play as a grind, and he says he's expecting the Cards to play well in this series. He said the Cardinals are always the Cardinals. You can't underestimate them. I know that from playing here. Here's what Tommy said about his return to St. Louis. I'm so excited. I'm speechless. Danny, Tommy speechless doesn't happen a lot.
Good point. And here comes Tommy Pham after a base hit by Adam Frazier.
Batting fifth, number 28, Tommy Pham.
Nice round of applause for Tommy. Played in 362 career games with the Cardinals. 51 homers, hit .271. And his numbers have been just about the same leaving St. Louis in the same amount of games. And the first pitch is strike.
I'm sure it's an odd return for him in some ways because it's his first time back, but it was a long time ago when he left.
Yeah.
So it's not as if it's a recent thing, and even for Cardinal fans to think about that, but you know, we certainly enjoyed watching him play. He's a gamer. He's gonna lay it out there every single time he is on the field, and that's what we came to love about Tommy Pham.
The Padres swept the Cardinals, and that was at Petco in May, and that was just a rough, ugly series from the St. Louis perspective. Cardinals walked 26 in the 3 games. And the Padres, a team that
does take their fair share of walks. Only 3 other teams have drawn more walks than the Padres this year. And only the Reds have issued more walks than the Cardinals pitching staff. But again, it's 2 different times of the season we're talking about now.
Well, there's a time we'd say the predominant chapter of the book about the 2021 Cardinals was going to be all about walks. Bases loaded walks, hit by pitches, wild pitches. That was the extent of really the Cardinals for about a 3 or 4 week period. But thankfully, that wasn't the final chapter of the book.
Inside corner and struck him out. And Michaelis has his first strikeout of the night.
Michaelis lives on command and control. Control throwing strikes, command within the zone. He hit his spot with his fastball there. But I'm with you, your comment earlier, Dan. I think the pitch that we really have to watch for Miles is the slider, especially. Curveball, yes, he doesn't use that as much, but is the slider sharp and is it getting ground balls?
Good one right there. In for a strike to the former Kansas City Royal, Eric Hosmer. Really, he was at the beginning of the turnaround, remember, for the San Diego Padres. Became a free agent, got a massive deal, and then they started signing and being aggressive with trades. Off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. There was even talk that Hosmer could be traded at this past year's deadline. And Manny Machado said, I would not have been happy at all if he had left. He started this whole winning thing when he came over here. He has changed the culture of this organization. Off the plate, 2 balls and 1 strike.
And teammates know.
And the 2-1 pitch now to Hosmer with a runner at first. 2-2. So 2019, we had the 20 home runs, and since then, he's played in 174.
Pretty consistent.
Yep, pretty good numbers. And you're going to get Gold Glove defense out of him too. The 2-2. Rolled up the first base line, but foul.
Always been true in this game that if you're going to win, your all-stars have to be all-stars. Your steady players, good players, have to have good years, maybe even career years, and then somebody's got to come out of nowhere. And say the Cardinals have had Jay Happ and John Lester come out of nowhere, T.J. McFarland, Luis Garcia come out of nowhere. Now, of course, they were somewhere, and the Cardinals went and got them, to their credit. And they've also, St. Louis has reinforced their veteran status and their veteran toughness in the clubhouse with those guys.
I think also, Ricky, a lot of it comes down to they've now figured out to throw strikes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. And now you're going to have those stretches, like even the other night. There was 3 innings and they walked 6, but they were able to get away with it. But they've really cut down on that. Backhanded Sosa. The turn. And safe at first. What a play, Edmundo Sosa. And right on cue, what we're talking about, throwing strikes, lack of walks, and let your defense go to work.
This guy's been fun to watch.
Sosa does something every single game to help you win. That's my description of him. And Mundito does it again, going to the backhand this time, spinning around, and somehow this is almost a double play. That's how quick that turn was. But if Edmundo doesn't make that play, you've got first and third in a tough situation.
And now it's Nola with 2 outs and a runner at first. He's 5 for his last 8, couple of doubles. It's swinging a hot bat for San Diego. Here's the 1-0. I thought the other night Edmundo Sosa showed you a little bit of everything. Scoring on the bloop base hit to right from first, hits an opposite field home run, and then the catch with his back to the infield. It was awesome.
I found it difficult to describe on radio the catch that he made while running away from home plate and then having to actually reach back. He overran it, essentially. He got back there so quickly, overran it, had to reach back as if he was fully bending backwards, and you can't make that play, and he did. I don't know how you see the ball, much less catch it.
Great play. Sosa to his left, stays with it.
Don't you dare make an error when we're talking about you.
Can't do that. And he did. 3-0 midway through 2. Brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Highest OPS shortstops in the big leagues, minimum 50 starts, and look who's on that list now, Edmundo Sosa. As you mentioned, when he starts, he's making things happen. The top of that list, it's Fernando Tatis Jr. No surprise there.
I saw Sosa on another list that I was a bit surprised. I guess in some ways yes, in some ways no. He has the second fastest sprint speed of all shortstops in the National League behind Trey Turner.
It took a while to get here, but he's making the most of this opportunity. And not to put the cart in front of the horse, but that is something that John Mozeliak, Michael Gersh, and the rest of the front office will have to figure out. Is this a player going forward that could be an everyday guy?
Well, you're talking about the cart in front of the horse. The horse almost left the barn the last day of spring training.
Right.
He was out of options, and the thought was, well, do you take him or not? And the Cardinals took him. He celebrated with a home run on that last day, and he hasn't looked back.
And the 1-1. A strike to Sosa, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tap foul. So for the Cardinals tonight, it's Michaelis, and tomorrow with the reunion of the 2011 team in the house, Adam Wainwright is on the mound. Yu Darvish going for San Diego, and then on Sunday, Jay Happ and Jake Arrieta now pitching for the Padres. The 1-2 popped up and out of play. We have all these reunions, and Waino's a part of these teams, and he's still pitching. Last time it was the 06 reunion, and he went the distance.
Better than going to your high school reunion and you're still in high school.
No kidding.
That would be worse.
That would not be good.
No.
And the 1-2 pitch to Sosa. The fly ball lifted out to right fielder Jurickson Profar with the catch. MLB celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month. Recognize the contributions made to our game by the Latino baseball community, past and present. Well, the celebration on Sunday here at the ballpark. Well, you mentioned it earlier. You believe that Bader's your Gold Glove winner in the outfield.
I do. He's made so many great plays, and I mean, he's just a difference maker defensively. When he was hurt, Cardinals were good in the outfield, but they're way better than good right now. All three of them, I think, are just having plus years defensively. They have a lot of outfield assists, third most in the National League. But Bader really anchors it. His communication is good with left fielder, right fielder.
He's 8 for his last 23. There's a check swing. 1 ball and 1 strike. I talked to Terry Collins, the former Mets manager, the other day, who's actually doing some radio now for the Mets. And I said, what stands out about the Cardinals? And I think when you're watching him like we do every day, you take it for granted. But he said, their defense and how athletic this team is.
Yeah. And that athleticism comes to play on the bases, too. Not only athletic in terms of speed, but they're good base runners.
That caught our home plate umpire, Mark Rippinger.
Well, he says he's all right, but you still have to ask again, because that one hit him pretty squarely. And it's the home team's responsibility, their athletic trainer, to come out and check on umpires. So that's always something you're looking for. So that's Chris Conroy. And, you know, there's several questions you ask, and really just giving him a minute to make sure that there's nothing, not a headache coming, or you see well all those kind of concussion protocol things that you do.
By the way, did you happen to ever see a play like we saw in New York off the side of Valentine? The umpire Valentine's face head stayed in the game. It was an errant throw by Edmundo Sosa, and it was a fastball, I mean, right on him. As a first base umpire.
I heard several players, and Goldschmidt was part of the conversation on the team bus in New York, talking about the sound that it made and how sickening it was, because it was just a loud noise, hit him in the, I guess, in the cheekbone, and he was bleeding there and had the black eye, of course, for the next couple of games. I was stunned that he worked behind the plate the next day, and no, I've never seen anything like it.
So I don't know if it's being taught this way. Maybe you can answer this question, or if it's just personal preference for a first base umpire. But a lot of them, and he was in a position to listen to the ball hitting the glove and then the foot hitting the bag, where you watch other umpires, they're following the ball all the way in. So I don't know if it's one way or another that it's preferred, but he was not looking at the ball, obviously.
Well, he might rethink it.
Yeah.
Although the throw was so errant, it's almost not going to happen again, or you wouldn't think it would.
Two and two, the count on Harrison Bader. And Bader pops it up. Fernando Tatis Jr. with the catch.
And that's out number 2. The batter with 2 outs and nobody on will be Miles Michaelis. Miles trying to pick up that first hit of the season as we play here on September 17th of 2021. Game number 146 for the Cardinals. The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Are you enjoying scoreboard watching as much as I am?
I love it. We always talk about it for the players, how it's fun to come to the ballpark. Same can be said for broadcasters in September when the team is playing,
no doubt,
for something.
I actually heard something come out of my mouth in New York. I actually said, "Let's go Cubs." So you end up rooting for teams that you might not normally root for too in September. It was a little painful,
but you got through it.
Didn't feel very good about myself, but yes, I did.
Had to take a shower after that. The pitch taken high, and it's 2-2. Phillies lead the Mets. That's in the top of the 6th. 2-1, and they're in the bottom of the 6th. The Reds lead the Dodgers 1-0. The 2-2 pitch to Miles Michaelis, and a strikeout. Number 3 tonight for Velasquez. 3-0 as we head to the 3rd.
Out of 2011, Jason Mott and Alan Craig in left, and the celebration began. Cardinals celebrate the 10th anniversary of the 2011 World Series this weekend right here at Busch Stadium. Valley Sports Midwest will bring you the ceremony from the field tomorrow. It's going to include, I was told now, 46 members of the 2011 team. David Freese, Matt Holliday, Chris Carpenter, Lance Berkman, all scheduled to take part. Coverage starts Saturday at 5 on Valley Sports Midwest. And if you have a ticket, get here early. It'll be around 5:40 or so. They'll start kind of similar to what we do with opening day. And I was emceeing a season ticket holder function tonight. Nick Punto was there signing autographs, and we had a quick visit on the mic for the crowd, and I said, all right, Shredder, where's the rest of David Freese's jersey? And he said, I still think I have some under my nails. It was great to see him.
I'm so happy for those guys. I'm happy for Cardinal fans that they get to celebrate with them. But honestly, just thinking about it from the player's point of view, those relationships that were so important, those moments that are going to be with you for the rest of your life, to still be able to reconnect from time to time with those players, guys you won't see all the time. And you appreciate the Cardinals for bringing them back, and you appreciate the memories. But, boy, those relationships so important for these guys.
This is Trent Grisham, Velasquez, and then Profar. Nick Punto said, you know, I played 14 years, and I'm very proud of that, to play 14 years in the big leagues. He said, my time here in St. Louis was brief, but when I'm asked about it, he said, I say a couple of things. One, the most passionate and involved smart fans that you can possibly have. And then to your point, Ricky, he said, I have not been in St. Louis in 10 years. Because I said, who are you really looking forward to seeing? He said, all of them. Yeah. He said, one of the things that stood out about that team, and he said, I believe this is why we were able to win. The 2-1 pitch, a strike 2-2. He said, we were a really tight-knit group. He said, now, even though we were losing and by our estimation, underperforming, we still were very, very tight-knit group and didn't get on each other. The frustrations that you can have didn't bleed over into performance. And he said, that's why I believe we won. And he said, I can't wait to see these guys. They're some of my best friends.
Well, those bad times you're talking about, and every team's going to have bad months, bad weeks, bad days. If you don't come together during those times and you start going in your own direction, that can absolutely kill that kind of team relationship you're talking about that's so important when you get to October. You got to have guys pulling in the same direction, not against each other.
A leadoff walk by Michaelis to Grisham, and the batter will be the pitcher, Velasquez. I saw Kyle Loesch, Jason Mott, Alan Craig here, Nick Punto, Matt Holliday was on the field before the game. David Freese will be here. Skip Schumacher is here in the opposing dugout. Should be a great weekend. That will roll foul. Just a handful of those guys are still competing in Major League Baseball, and two of them still wearing the birds on the bat. That would be Yachty and Adam Wainwright. Wainwright was hurt that year. Tony La Russa, the manager, now with the White Sox, along with Lance Lynn.
And probably a little awkward for them because they probably can't do as much as they'd like to do during this weekend. You think about, hey, everybody's going to go do this, do that. You think, well, yeah, but I've got a pennant race I'm involved in here, and I've got to catch 9 innings tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And Wainwright has to pitch game 2 of this series. So,
there's limited possibilities probably for you to get involved in things, but I think the players all understand that.
There's a 0-2 pitch. Only play Michaelis to first. Tommy Edman covering the bag. We had Brandon Dixon come back from that 2011 team, and Matt Carpenter was a part of it as well. Very limited role, but was a part of it. 2021 Cardinals yearbook celebrating the anniversaries of the 06 and 11 championship clubs, bringing together more than 30 Cardinals who made them happen.
Personal stories of the magical title runs. Cardinals.com/yearbook, 314-345-9000. Top of the lineup, and Profar. 4th sacrifice this season by Velasquez. Cardinals with a shift on the right side of the infield, and that's a ball.
And Nick Punto was talking about, he said, man, we just couldn't get it together. We had a bad stretch. We're underperforming. And then things just started to click around this time of the year. And I said, man, that sounds familiar. That's what's happening right now with the Cardinals. And by no means am I comparing the two.
No,
but
right.
It's got a similar type finish potentially for the Cardinals in this regular season. Runner at second, 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out. 1-2. And doesn't get the call. So the Padres a half game back of St. Louis. The Reds a full game. Phillies 2.5, and the Mets are now 5 after being swept.
Reds just got a couple more runs off of Walker Buehler. 3-0 in that game.
And the Reds have not won consecutive games in 3 weeks. The 2-2. And a foul ball. Jesse Winker did return for them this weekend. You got to think that Walker Buehler is in the conversation for the Cy Young, along with Corbin Burns and Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer for sure.
I would think old Uncle Charlie tomorrow is going to get some votes and maybe pitch himself into contention for that if he hasn't already.
Gausman would be another one with San Francisco. What a bounce back year he's had.
Accepted the qualifying offer and took a chance on himself, and it made the most of it undoubtedly. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second base. That's Grisham. 1 away here in the Padres half of the 3rd. Swing and a miss. And Michaelis has strikeout number 2.
Good downward break to it. Michael is much sharper in this game than he was the last game. And he's been talking about the incremental jumps that he's making from start to start. They're not big jumps, but they're going in the right direction. He's been better and better each time out.
2 outs and a runner at second. A pitch taken for a ball inside to Fernando Tatis Jr.
He's also doing a nice job of pitching inside. He's crowding the right-handers and crowding the left-handers.
Tatis grounded to short. First time up. Last 2 days, 6 for 8. And a ground ball to short again, taken there by Sosa. And the Padres strand their second runner of the night. The top of the St. Louis lineup coming up, and that means Tommy Edman, who is double. Goldschmidt, RBI single. O'Neill, a 2-run blast. The T-Mobile coverage cam. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and a beautiful night for baseball. Game 1 of a 3-game series. The Cardinals and the Padres. And kicking off the weekend celebration of the 2011 St. Louis Cardinals. They're in a suite tonight. We just saw a bunch of them put up on the video board here at the ballpark. Edwin Jackson, Adrian Chambers. I mean, it's going to conjure up some memories tomorrow for sure.
And more of those guys, as I see them, and I saw all the video of them in between innings, several of those guys have started coming back to the fantasy camp in the offseason. So it's been great to have them connect with players that they maybe didn't know from 2006, and even teams that, in between or older than that. And it's just been such a wonderful thing for the Cardinals organization, in my mind, the fantasy camp.
There's Tommy Edman. Next fantasy camp will be in November this year. Moved it up, and it will be focused on primarily the 2011 Cardinals. Edman, Goldie, and then Tyler O'Neill. Tommy is 3 for 5 head-to-head against the Padres starter. Picked up his 40th double back in the first.
Just makes me think of interviewing Todd Worrell not that long ago about the Cardinals not winning in 1985. And I actually asked him the question, Dan. I said, now that you're farther removed from the call at first base and the play and not winning that game, he said, have you been able to kind of process that and feel better about it? And he said, every year that goes by, it bothers me more. And I thought that was really kind of a stunning thing that he said. I was surprised that he said that. But I think you start to realize as your life moves on that those opportunities don't come very often.
Few and far between.
And when you can win a World Series together, a bunch of guys together, that is something you will celebrate together for the rest of your life.
Without a doubt. 2-2 the count on Tommy Edman. And a swing and a miss. Noticing that they've been pitching him up with fastballs. Mets did that time and again.
A lot of strikeouts in that Mets series. I was surprised 7 of 15 at bats were strikeouts from Tommy Edman, but he still managed to get a lot of hits in that series too, so he can still do some damage, but they do climb the ladder on him, just couldn't stay off it.
With that double, Tommy became the 9th switch hitter in the history of this organization with 40 or more doubles, and the first to do it since 1991 in terms of a switch hitter doing that. Goldschmidt drove in his 87th. And that was back in the first. Now the Cardinals have not had a 100 RBI guy since Matt Holliday, who is the sweep to our right. That was in 2012, and they have a shot to get 2. Arenado, you figure, is going to get that. He's at 99, and now Paul Goldschmidt is 13 away. The 0-1. And Goldie rips it into right center, but positioned perfectly. Trent Grisham. It was a 10-pitch at bat that started 0-2. Then the 10th pitch, out of here. StatCast powered by Google Cloud.
And you saw the location. It was middle in, but he was able to turn on it. His bat is so quick. Ball left the park in a hurry. Exit velocity of 109 miles an hour. And, of course, Tyler's had a few of those.
You know, Ricky, I go back to the Cardinals and Padres meeting in postseason play last year. And in the deciding game, Tyler O'Neill wasn't a factor, wasn't in the lineup. And then they decided not to use him late as a pinch hitter. I mean, you think about how far he has come from that game to now. It's significant.
He's also had a couple of injuries this year, a couple of odd things. He had a food poisoning issue, or food allergy, I should say.
Popped up, right side, Hosmer in foul territory, under it, and makes the catch. Cardinals go in order since that home run. Velasquez is set down 9 in a row. Grab a $1 any size frozen beverage every game day, valid April 1st through October 3rd on every Cardinals home or away game. Miles Michaelis and the Cardinals leading 3-0. It'll be Machado, Frazier, and Pham for San Diego.
I like the 5 ground ball outs from Michaelis.
And he had him way out in front. Machado hit it sharply off the glove of Michaelis to Edman, over to Goldie for the first time up, and a ground out. That would be 1-4-3 in your scorebook, Rick.
I got it.
All right.
1-4-3.
Just making sure.
Nope, I'm on it.
Another ground ball. Sosa has been busy tonight. And the first out here in the fourth.
And that would be 6-3.
6-3. Got it.
When Michaelis is at his best, it's a ho-hum game. It's not going to be an 8, 9, 10 strikeout game with, you know, all kinds of pitches in the upper 90s that wows every. It's just going to be ground balls, maybe pop a guy up on a pitch inside, and low number of pitches. That's going to be a classic Michaelis game when he's right.
And a strike to Frazier. Hey, it's a good way to put it. Nothing flashy, but you look up 6-7 innings and he's got a chance to win the ball game or keep the team close. Frazier singled to right first time up to account for the only hit for San Diego tonight. 8 for his last 13. That's hit out of play. He had been a thorn in the Cardinals' side wearing that Pittsburgh uniform. Good player. All-star this year. There it is. When he's done with Pittsburgh and now with San Diego.
And the 1-2 taken high, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Velocity's there with Michaelis. The command is there.
Just hit 95 with that pitch. And a grounder foul.
And we really haven't seen him go very deep in games since he's come back. He really has not had the kind of low pitch outings where he could get into the 6th, 7th inning or beyond. Now the Cardinals had the off day yesterday, and the bullpen fairly rested right now. So that's good news. And of course you've got 10 of them out there.
Frazier not opposed to hitting it the other way. Leads baseball with hits to the opposite field.
And knowing that Tyler O'Neill kind of looking into Willie McGee, see where they want to position the outfielders. Moved a step or two in and to his right.
He and Grisham both very good at going the other way
In the Padres lineup.
The 2-2. Shallow center, and the catch made. Harrison Bader is there. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with home run number 46. So now he has a lead in the American League. Blue Jays and Red Sox would be your wild card winners if it ended today. The Yankees a half game back. The A's 3, Seattle 4. There's Tommy Pham.
I think it's great for baseball to have so many teams,
no question,
playing meaningful games right now. And I think it's a little different too, Dan, that you don't have
30, 32 players on an active roster on a given day. I like that new rule.
So you got 28 here for the stretch run,
which means you're not playing, 7 guys that were in AA and AAA, and you just can't do that.
Now, it may complicate things a little bit for the Cardinals coming up with Dakota Hudson. You had a 40-man roster, that's one thing, but when you got 28, entirely different. Something to think about. And Dakota has made it known to anybody that will listen to him that he wants to pitch in the major leagues this year and go into the offseason knowing that he made it back and is healthy. The 1-2, fouled back by Tommy Pham.
Everything that he's been doing in his rehab assignments shows that he is. And I fully understand why he would want to do that. Off season's a long time when you have nothing to really kind of build off
of.
For
sure. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Pham, who struck out looking first time up and now strikes out swinging. 3 tonight for Michaelis. Arenado, Molina, Carlson coming up. Only 1 hit allowed by Miles Michaelis so far.
Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals, and by Steel. Find your Steel dealer at steeldealers.com. Three 0 our score as we move to the bottom of the fourth on this Friday night in St. Louis. Beautiful night for baseball. Nolan Arenado to lead it off. He grounded to third first time up. And the first pitch to Arenado, taken for a ball inside. First series against the Padres, went 6 for 12 with a home run in each game. But there's a lot of National League West teams that were happy he was traded out of the division.
Yeah, they had to see him too much.
The 1-0. So one more run batted in to become the first Cardinal since Holiday in 12 to drive in 100. And one more to collect his 6th straight 30 home run, 100 RBI campaign.
One more home run and he would have 30 career home runs against the Padres.
Popped up. Nola over and out of play. So Nola in Colorado, and you had Goldie in Arizona all those years. Almost full seasons in terms of games played and big numbers. The other night was the first time that those two hit a home run in the same inning this year, which is hard to believe.
That is.
The 2-1 inside with a fastball, and it's now 3-1.
You mentioned Velasquez has retired 9 straight Cardinals. He's also struck out 4 of them and gotten settled into the game a little bit here. And the Cardinals need to kind of get him nervous again. I mean, they had him nervous right out of the box, and he's just been really mowing them down since then. And you'd like to see the Cardinals add on.
Leading this ball game 3-0. 3-1 pitch to Nolan Arenado. 3-2. Arenado leading all third basemen, the entire sport, the home run department, with 32 and 8+ outs above average. So defensively spectacular. And the 3-2 popped up on the infield. Velasquez gets out of the way, and Machado is there. Sail the Caribbean January 23rd through the 29th. A couple of Cardinal Hall of Famers are part of that. Ray Langford, John Tudor, and alumni Danny Cox and Brian Jordan. Space limited. Visit cardinals.com/cruise today. So 10 in a row he's set down. Molina struck out first time up. I do wonder about the guys that are a part of that 2011 team, watching Yachty and watching Waino and watching probably in amazement. High fly ball out to left, and the catch is made by Tommy Pham.
Amazement and a lot of respect.
Yep. There's Carlson, who was called out on strikes first time up. There's been at times when the Cardinals kind of, you jump out to that lead and you just want to see him keep it going. And it's gotten quiet now with 11 straight set down by Velasquez. Padres with a shift on the right side of the infield.
First pitch to Carlson, taken for a ball.
I'm not sure I've ever seen the shift with a second baseman playing that deep. I mean, he's almost can shake hands with the right fielder.
I'm with you. I'm not sure either.
And you can only do that if you've got a cannon.
And by the way, I definitely have never seen a third baseman out there, and I think that is Machado there.
And that's why he is that deep. And I think that's what the Padres have figured out, that if we're going to have that defensive alignment, we can cheat even a little bit more and take more hits away from a left-handed pull hitter, or somebody just happens to get the head out, pull the ball to right. And he's got a lot more range playing that deep, and he can also throw them out from anywhere.
2-1 the count. And remember, Machado played so much of his career at short, so he's got very good range. Next half inning, by the way, will be all Jimmy Hayes.
All right. Just him?
Let's see. We got Descalso, Craig, Freeze.
All right.
John Jay all coming up to visit with Jim Hayes. Looking forward to that. The 2-1. To deep right. It's at the wall. Gone. The rookie, Dylan Carlson, home run number 14 into the St. Louis bullpen. 4-0 Redbirds.
We both wanted the Cardinals to add on, and Dylan Carlson took it upon himself to get that done. And Machado was playing deep, but he wasn't playing that deep. Another home run given up by Velasquez. He's got the high home run per 9-inning rate. There's the look that Machado has. And into the Cardinals bullpen.
The Nissan drive of the game off the bat of Dylan Carlson. He's driven in 53. And his 14th. And here's Sosa. Fouls that back. Strike one. Carlson's first home run since August 28th at Pittsburgh, and career hit number 150. And snaps a string of 11 in a row set by Velasquez, who's allowed a couple of home runs tonight. So the Cardinals, Rick, will wrap up this series with the Padres, and then left on the schedule two teams.
Right.
Milwaukee and the Cubs.
7 against each, and
I like what the schedule maker did to have the Cardinals playing Cincinnati last weekend and the Padres this weekend. Two teams that you're up against in the wild card. It just kind of worked out that way, but you're going to have to bring the A game against the Brewers. No question about that.
And Sosa hits it out to left, and making the catch, Tommy Pham. Solo home run, Dylan Carlson. 4-0. The Memphis Mafia coming up.
It is the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary of the 2011 championship team. I'm here with the Memphis Mafia. The celebrations tomorrow started tonight. John Jay, Daniel Descalso, Alan Craig, and of course, distracted at the end, David Freeze. But what's it like getting back together and seeing everybody, John?
That's amazing. A lot of good memories between these guys. You know, telling a lot of good stories tonight. So it's been nice to get out here, and it's good to see you too as well.
Of course it is. Now you guys are friends anyway. I know you guys keep in touch. What was it about that ball club? Because there was a certain closeness in terms of how you guys got along that seemed to be an important ingredient.
You know, I think for us, coming up in the minor leagues together and winning in Memphis, getting up here and being able to contribute to a World Series, like we had that close bond already, and then it just grew from there. So it's been great to stay in touch with these four guys, especially, and just grow that relationship over the years.
When you think back to 2011 and how you guys won it all,
Is there anything that stands out to you, Alan Craig?
I mean, a lot stands out. I mean, you think back to everyone's contribution, from everybody on the roster had a big moment that season through the playoffs and the World Series. And just a special time to be a Cardinal, for sure.
David, I know you were looking forward to not only being interviewed by me, but also catching up with some of your old friends. What's it been like seeing everyone? Because I know some of the guys you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, it's great. We could do this in 10 more years and 15 more years, and you're going to be around?
Maybe.
We hope. We hope.
Let me check my accounts. I'll get back.
No, it's cool. It's pretty weird. You haven't seen some of these guys in 10 years, kind of, and it's fun getting everybody back.
What was special about that ball club as you look back? I mean, different personalities every year. You guys came out of nowhere
with a strong finish. What do you think made that ball club special?
I just think, the veterans, the younger guys like us, I think we were all just ball players, and we wanted it, and we went after it and got it.
And what about for you, Alan Craig? When you think about the ball club and the way you guys all got along, especially you four coming up together as the young guys, what was special to you about going through it with these guys who are obviously lifelong friends?
It's obviously very special, like Daniel alluded to earlier. We played a ton of games together in the minor leagues, won a lot, spent a lot of time on the field in the minor leagues, and to be able to come up to the big leagues and be an opportunity to win the World Series is super special. We got to be out there in the last inning and all making out in the last inning, and something that we'll all never forget. One of those moments where the stars kind of align, and just blessed to be here and blessed to be a part of it.
Last thing, and I'll let you guys get back to having fun and not talking to me. But Yadi's out there still doing it at a high level. Waino at 40 is as good as ever. Does that surprise you, John?
No, the way those guys take care of themselves, and for us, that's something we got to learn about, and it helped us in our careers, and what they've meant to this community, this city, and everything they do every day. It's amazing to still see them out there, and we wish them nothing but the best.
All right, can you send it back to Danny Mac for me, because you look like you're about done with this interview, and I know Danny wants to hear from you. Can you send it back to Danny Mac?
The Mafia's done. Take it back, Danny Mac.
I love it. Take it back, Danny Mac. I love it.
That was so much
guys
fun.
there, boy.
So much fun to hear from those guys, and honestly, that was kind of a moment I didn't want to end. I mean, of course, we've got a game going on here, and you've been able to watch what's happened since then, but honestly, that kind of get lost in that
feeling of what those guys are going through, being together again, and thinking back to their minor league days together. That was great.
It's fabulous. Jim does such a good job with those, and it's fun to hear from all those guys. 2-2 pitch,
and it's hit up the middle. Sosa flips, turned by Tommy, and it's a double play. 6-4-3 off the bat of Nola after the infield hit from Hosmer.
Cardinals defense has been terrific, as we've mentioned. A lot of double plays, a lot of great plays. This one, wasn't sure whether Sosa might try to take that one himself. He probably could have got it done that way too, but they've had really good communication up the middle, those two. Didn't miss a beat. When Sosa started playing more regularly, seems like they're very comfortable together.
Well, you think about all those guys coming through, and I talked to Daniel Descalso and John Jay about a month ago about it, and they said, man, we had one in the minor leagues, and there was something to it. And then when we all got together to be able to come up and experience this together, he said, now you're in awe of the situation. Don't get me wrong. It's the major leagues. It's the World Series. But there was something to coming up together and having one together in the minor leagues. Craig, Descalso, Freeze.
It's something that's striking me, Dan, just thinking about their emotions tonight and what they'll be like tomorrow, really through the whole weekend, is, the fans are obviously interested in the players. But to them, it's more than that. It's their players' families. It's the coaches. It's the clubhouse guys. It's the traveling secretary. I mean, they had a family that was beyond the guys on the field. And so they've got relationships with all those people, too. And it's really, to me, they're seeing each other's kids, for example, that are 10
sticks out to me.
10 years older. That's right. And it's, it really is a pretty fun thing.
good group of guys that obviously have stayed connected to the community. John Jay has married a St. Louis girl and lives here full time. And he, Descalso, Freeze, and Craig are on a text chain together daily, just giving each other trouble, figuring out where they're going to go play golf, making trips, checking in on each other's families. I saw Mitchell Boggs, and I was on the cruise with him probably 10 years ago. And it looked like he had 2 little ones. Didn't have that before.
We saw Adrian Chambers, who came to our fantasy camp. We saw him in between innings, and think about his mad dash home.
Against the Cubs.
Against the Cubs late in September.
Three-two pitch. And he lost him, and a 2-out walk to Grisham. So both walks have been to Trent Grisham, who's hitting below 200 since the break. We'll see if the Padres want to go to their bench.
Number 7, Ah-Sung Kim.
So Kim will be the pinch hitter. He was one of their bigger signings that they had in the offseason, and boy, did they have a bunch. A lot of teams were interested in Kim being an everyday player potentially. Dinelson Lamet is getting loose in the bullpen for San Diego. So Velasquez goes 4, gives up a pair of home runs and 4 runs, and that's taken for a ball inside.
It is interesting when you look at the Padres. Their home run total average about the same as the Cardinals. Very similar, but they do walk a lot. Michaelis doesn't walk a lot of batters, as we've mentioned. The 2 walks to Grisham, who does run well at first base.
I mentioned it earlier. Only a couple other teams have walked more than San Diego. Shallow right, and Carlson there to make the catch. So the Padres go to their bullpen. The Cardinals did that in Game 7 of the World Series to bring in Jason Mott, who closed it out from catcher to a World Series closer. And what a ride. Adam Wainwright going for St. Louis tomorrow against Yu Darvish. Darvish 8-10, Waino 16-7, and it's the Budweiser What's on Tap. And we'll come your way early start tomorrow, 5 o'clock the pregame. We want to bring you the ceremony of the 2011 Championship Club in its entirety. And we'll do that for you. Very similar to maybe what you see on an opening day, and it should be fun. And if you have a ticket, make sure you're in your seats by 5:30, 5:40 if you want to see that ceremony. And Dinelson Lamet is the new pitcher. Chevy called to the pen.
Waino and Yachty working on that next 100 games together.
It's unbelievable.
But they're only, 97 games up to 400.
Nothing shocks me anymore.
Exactly.
It was against these Padres a few years ago out there. I thought Waino, that was it. And here we are talking about him now at the age of 40, potentially winning a Cy Young.
Age almost seems insignificant right now with him. He does not even remotely seem as if he's 40 years old when he's competing. I mean, you see the classic signs of diminished velocity, diminished really flexibility, athleticism.
Popped up by Bader. Hosmer.
But I haven't seen those signs from him at all.
Bader is 0 for 2. Ice cream sundaes are always there for you on Sunday home games. Starts 2 hours prior to every home game. Games, prizes, free North Star frozen treats in the Ford Plaza, presented by Prairie Farms. So here is Michaelis in the home half of the 5th and leading 4-0. He's allowed just 2 hits. I'm going to throw something at you and get a reaction because you are a deep thinker, Horton. So is let's say 88 to 92. Okay, is that the new 98 to 100? And hear me out. Now you got to have a little talent, and you've been blessed with Uncle Charlie, which he has. But look at what right now John Lester is doing. Look at what Adam Wainwright is doing. Now they're very good. You know, Waino's a Cardinal Hall of Famer. Lester might be headed to baseball's Hall of Fame before it's all said and done. But learning to pitch with Lester stuff against guys that are in some cases half their age, and all they've been taught is launch angle, hit the ball as hard as you can, get it in the air, and if you can cut it, sink it, move it, spot it, you pitch, you're ahead of the game.
Well, I've been using the phrase revolution. I feel we need a revolution in the way we teach pitching in the minor leagues and even earlier than that in college and
that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's how they're taught.
Well, but I think we need a revolution to go back, not fully back to, you know, just kind of flipping it up there. The point is that command and movement should be king, not velocity, and especially command. I mean, you want to throw the ball exactly where you want to throw it. And of course, you want to have movement on it, and you want to have variance of your pitches and all that. By the way, that's what pitching is. I mean, it's an art, and yes, there's a brute force to it. That, I mean, hey, nothing wrong with throwing 100 miles an hour, but it doesn't mean you're a big leaguer. I think we're going to find that more and more. We're going to see all these guys. We say, yeah, they can throw 100, and then the next thing is, so what? Can you get people out consistently? Can you throw every day? And by the way, can your career last more than 2 years? If you're doing all or nothing every single time out there, that is not in your best interest. Most people would say that you pitch at about 90 to 95. John Smoltz says it all the time. 90 to 95% of as hard as you can throw a ball. That's when you're in your groove. And I think we need to have. I don't think it's going to be a complete revolution, but we should swing the pendulum back.
I think there's a place for those guys.
No doubt.
But, you know, to the point of being able to spot it, cut it, move it, and pitch.
Well,
2-1 here on Edmond.
But you also have to scout it and teach it and develop it.
So then will those guys be signed if they don't do these other things that we talk about, that when they go to a showcase, they're not throwing 100? Does anybody pay attention? 3-1 on Tommy Edman.
Well, and it also, part of the revolution is a conversation I had with a Cardinal minor league pitcher who was in Double-A. Said, yeah, I got off to a bad start because it's the first time in my life I decided what pitch I was throwing. He was 24 years old and had all of his pitches called for him in travel ball, all of his pitches called for him at the University of Virginia in college, and all of his pitches called for him at the first level of the minor leagues, and he became a starter. They said, okay, now you do it. And he was kind of clueless about it.
And for fans that don't know, majority of the time it is called the game by the head coach or the pitching coach, and it's a head coach, not a manager in college baseball, that's relaying the signals to the catcher. There's a strikeout of Tommy Edman.
Ball had a little hop to it. There's that pitch up again to Tommy Edman.
It's interesting tonight that John Mozeliak in our season ticket appreciation event talked about the fact that they want to get Hudson here at some point, but also Alex Reyes as the umpire there to visit with Lamet, and Machado is helping him out with the translation, but he again reaffirmed the idea that Jordan Hicks could be battling for a spot in the rotation next year. First inning, this was Tyler O'Neill. You know what happened to me, Ricky? I was looking at one monitor, which was an ISO for you.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't paying attention to this monitor.
Well, you are a multitasker.
Got to be paying attention to monitors
No,
in 2021.
you know what you're doing? You were teasing the 10-pitch at-bat of Tyler O'Neill. You were teasing it.
One ball and one strike with 2 outs and a runner at first. Goldschmidt, the RBI single to center back in the first inning, and then scored on the home run hit by O'Neill. It's now a final. The Reds have defeated the Dodgers 3-1. They're in the bottom of the 7th, and the Phillies lead the Mets 3-1. Up and in. 3-1 the count here on Goldie.
I would say scoreboard watching involves more stress and strain when you're one of the chasers as opposed to the one being chased, because if you're on the field you realize, hey, we can take care of our own business here, which is what players are thinking only anyway. That's, you have to be there.
Popped up left side. Shortstop Tatis is there. We move to the 6th, and the top of the lineup coming up for the Padres. Prince Maker. Starter tonight, Miles Michaelis.
Michaelis has a big upside if he can pitch the way he's pitching tonight. The Cardinals are certainly searching for the guy that can be the reliable deep inning guy behind Adam Wainwright. You've got Wainwright now, and you've got, well, Happ maybe and Lester maybe and others, but Miles Michaelis certainly has a possibility to emerge if he can pitch the way he's pitching here. Only 2 hits allowed in this game, and a lot of ground ball outs, weak contact so far against Miles. And he's avoided the big inning.
Tonight, Dakota Hudson with the Memphis Redbirds, 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned in his return trip to AutoZone Park. So that's good news for St. Louis.
And roster consideration for St. Louis, too.
No doubt. Get the feeling this could be a big inning. Got the top of the lineup. He's pitching deeper than he has. It's been a while since he's pitched into a 6th inning. And the first pitch is a strike.
The dreaded 3rd time through a lineup.
Yes. Hudson, by the way, 68 pitches tonight. Here's Profar. And a ground ball. To the bag goes Michaelis, and the out. Profar is hitless tonight, 0 for 3.
You think Bob Gibson worried about the 3rd time through a lineup?
No, I don't. And if you thought about even taking him out in the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th, you probably were in trouble.
It has become a thing, and of course it is true, 3rd time through a lineup for most pitchers, and for some it's even worse than others, that they get hit around a little bit more, which is understandable. You're more tired. You have probably showed all of your pitches to the hitters, and the surprises are gone. But sometimes your starter is still your best bet.
Tatis hits it softly. Arenado bare hands. Oh, what a play, Nolan Arenado. Only way to make that play is with the bare hand. He's so good with this. It's about 1 step when he gets it in the bare hand and throwing off balance.
So there's no transition from glove to hand. It's all hand, which, by the way, is not as easy as it looks either. That ball had a little spin to it, so you could very easily not come up with it when you reach for the bare hand. But he's good at that and good at getting rid of it. Just as you say, half step, there it goes, and on the money. And he can throw from so many angles.
And Ricky, as you know, having played catch a million times in your life, I mean, you get the ball, you feel for the seams,
of course,
and you get the grip. And in that particular case, you just get it and go.
Whatever the grip is, that's what you've got.
Manny Machado, and a line drive and a base hit into the gap in right center. Over to cut it off. Bader sliding for it. And stepping on the bag at second, Manny Machado with a 2-out double.
So the grip that you mentioned, again, going back to that Arenado play, as we see a replay of the pitch, middle in, I guess. Driven into the gap, and Bader does a nice job of cutting it off. Now Bader's probably going to, in his glove there, search to get the right grip to throw it in. And the right grip for an infielder is a four-seamer, because you don't want the ball to sail.
Pitching change. Michaelis out. Nice round of applause. MLB verified tickets easier than ever. StubHub, the official partner of the Cardinals. Widest selection of seats and prices. You can even look up your seat view before you purchase. Tickets at StubHub up until the first pitch. So Miles Michaelis 5 2/3 and only 3 hits allowed tonight. Couple of walks and 3 strikeouts, and now McFarland.
Mildly surprised that he took Miles Michaelis out of this game. 86 pitches, but part of the reason is this guy's been so good against left-handers. That's number one. Frazier has hit Miles Michaelis well in his career. That's another factor. And I think Mike Schild also understands he's got a very rested bullpen right now. Probably didn't need to have Miles Michaelis go 6 or 7 innings, but still mildly surprised he took him out.
You mentioned it earlier how the day off yesterday and then the way things transpired in New York, so you feel comfortable, I would assume, making this move. McFarland has just been sensational. Last 22 games, a .78 ERA. And a little help from Lars Nootbaar the other night.
Boy, did he ever. And a close to 400 batting average Frazier against Miles Michaelis. Significant.
Ground ball. Tommy Edman. Good work again by McFarland. O'Neill, who's homered tonight. Arenado, Molina coming up. It's 4-0. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cardinals, not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Fernando Tatis Jr. back in St. Louis, hitless tonight. Machado a double, just 1 of 3 hits that the Padres have. Michaelis 5 2/3, 86 pitches, and O'Neill a 2-run homer back in the first. Situation now with McFarland. When he first was brought to St. Louis, you were kind of thinking of him of being more than just a 1-inning pitcher, and that may happen here tonight. So he gets a lefty, and then you have 7 spots away before you get to him again.
And he's another example of what you were talking about a pitcher that's not throwing 98 miles an hour, but just getting people out consistently. Now, I got to say, I like Luis Garcia, too.
I was going to say, I like the 98 with him.
Yes.
If that one plays.
But why do you like it?
Because he's throwing strikes.
Exactly.
Yeah. No question about it. Lefties, by the way, against McFarland are now 4 for 35. O'Neill fouls it back, 2-2 the count. His home run in the first inning was his 27th. Cardinals could wind up with a trio with 30 or more home runs. Already one is there, and that's the guy on deck, Arenado, with 32. The 2-2. Crowd tonight, 30,937, 30937. And a leadoff walk, Tyler O'Neill. While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
We put our customers first, and they returned the favor. Forbes ranked us the #1 bank in the United States, according to our customers. If you're ready for award-winning support, stop by anytime.
Arenado, 0 for 2 tonight. Grounded to third, popped out to third. First pitch. Drops in for a strike.
Well, we said we're scoreboard watching, and this is not a game necessarily of playoff implication in the National League, but the Diamondbacks are beating the Astros 1-0, but Madison Bumgarner has a no-hitter against the Astros. Now, they're just in the 6th inning, but that is one tough team to have a no-hitter going against, and so there's something else to root for.
And Bumgarner had 7 scoreless in a doubleheader, but not an official no-hitter. O'Neill with his speed at first base and an 0-1 pitch to Nolan Arenado. He's running, and Arenado hits a fly ball into left center. Grisham over to make the catch, and back to the bag at first goes O'Neill. Yadier Molina 0 for 2. Struck out and flied out to left, and he's been on an uptick here, Ricky, at the plate here in the month of September.
Yeah, he sure has. A lot of good at-bats from Yadi. A lot of the averages climbing in the Cardinals lineup, top to bottom, and that's part of the offensive success of St. Louis lately. Is it's been a longer lineup, not just 1 or 2 guys, it's several guys that are swinging the bat well, and nobody's in a real terrible slump. And I like the idea of Tyler O'Neill running with Arenado. I like it even more with Yadi at the plate.
So 1 out and a runner at first. Room on the right side of the infield. And Yadi is hit by the pitch. Right in the lower back, it looked like. Ouch.
I don't care where you get hit, it hurts. Yadi was pointing up to the screen here in the ballpark and said it's the 72nd career hit by pitch, and he's 5th in Cardinals history. And Yadi was pointing to the scoreboard and smiling. I know he's been passing a lot of people with a lot of things. I don't know if that's first on his mind, but it still brought a smile to his face.
And he just passed John Jay, by the way. He's in the ballpark tonight. Carlson is 1 for 2 tonight with a home run. 2 runners on. And Dillon looks at a pitch inside at 96. So back in the 4th inning into the St. Louis bullpen. Down and into a lefty, and adios. Sweet swing.
I think we're going to see more of that from Dylan Carlson as his career unfolds. I think probably stronger, more power. I think home runs shouldn't be first on his list right now, but I think there's going to be a time where he's going to be a 30 home run guy.
Well, he's got now 14 home runs. 9 of those have been away from Busch Stadium. Yet his average has been hovering right around 300 all season long at home. Dillon could just poke it through the left side as they have a shift on. Fastball 3-0.
Home run from Jose Altuve is 28. Spoils the no-hit bid for Bumgarner, and the Astros now lead in that game.
Boston leading 7-1 against the Orioles. Trying to keep pace with the Red Sox, and that was the return of Chris Sale tonight, coming off the COVID list. A 3-0 pitch. Sosa on deck. Runners at first and second. With 1 out here in the Cardinals half of the 6th, leading 4-0. Out of play. And a full count on Dylan Carlson. front, tap foul.
We mentioned earlier, Dan, if the Cardinals could win this game, they would go to 8 games over 500. And the last time they were there was the 29th of May.
Long time ago. Coincides with the injury to Flaherty in that visit to Dodger Stadium as Carlson swings and misses and strikes out. And that's when things went south, because in June it was on many levels historically bad. I mean, nothing was going right for the team.
Well, you had several players that had to jump up a notch or two in terms of what you were expecting them to be able to do, and the rotation was a mess at the time. And Bader had missed some time also right around then, and just was not the Cardinals team we see now. And they just couldn't recover very quickly when they lost their ace, and you can understand that emotionally, mentally. But I think getting the veterans that they've gotten in the post the trading deadline, and we're again talking about McFarland and Garcia and Wade LeBlanc, we really was the first one that influenced this idea of, okay, we can overcome this.
And the 1-0 pitch to Sosa. One ball and one strike. Sosa 0 for 2. 1-2 the count. Fly to right, lined out to left. And a swing and a miss, so the Cardinals strand their second and third runners of the night. We head to the 7th. It's 4-0.
Cards lead the Padres 4-0. As Danny mentioned, Dakota Hudson making a rehab start for Memphis tonight. Dakota's night is through. 5 innings, 1 earned run, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, 68 pitches. If Dakota recovers well, he could be headed back to St. Louis. That, according to Mike Schultz. Meantime, Jack Flaherty threw a side session yesterday, all fastballs. Schultz says Jack recovered well and is set to throw another tomorrow, this time incorporating breaking pitches. Danny, who knows how it all shakes out, but the addition of Jack and Dakota down the stretch, that's something to think about.
Something to think about, and then how does it all piece together for the Cardinals, something that they're thinking about right now. Now, they will tell you,
a lot of combinations of that.
They could always say, well, things have a way of working themselves out, which it just seems like that does happen. Here's Tommy Pham. However, running out of time. Expanded rosters only to 28, and you're dealing with a 40-man roster that you got to think about. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tommy Pham at the plate. He is hitless tonight, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. McFarland got the final out with a runner at second, back in the top of the 6th.
So your point about the 40-man roster different than the 28-man roster, like that's the September roster that you can have of active players. But the 40-man roster is also a consideration. When you've got guys who are on the 60-day DL, they don't count against the 40-man.
And the 1-2 is a base hit for Tommy Pham inside the first base line. Over to cut it off will be Carlson, and holding Pham to a single. The Cardinals had Alex Reyes up. If McFarland's spot would have come up last inning, it did not. So he starts this inning, and Luis Garcia begins to throw. Leadoff single for Tommy Pham, and now Eric Hosmer. From the right side of their bench, they've got Myers and Marisnik. Caratini, the backup catcher, switch hitter, and then Cronenworth, but we're not sure if Cronenworth is available to play tonight because of his situation in the last week with a broken finger. Nothing into the count.
I think there were some teams that would have said that the Padres might have been the favorite to win the West Division with all the signings that they had. They had good, solid lineup, but just a lot of injuries, and the pitching really went in a bad direction. And it was also odd several weeks ago that the pitching coach got fired.
Larry Rothschild.
And the team has only been 8-12 since then. And whether that's a good move or a bad move is their problem and their consideration, but it's really hard to overcome major injuries.
So the Dodgers lose tonight, game and a half back of San Francisco, and a 1-2 pitch. Hosmer pops it foul and out of play. Eric Hosmer is 1 for 13 head-to-head against McFarland. The 2-2. Hosmer rips it down into the corner in right field. Pham racing to third. He'll be held up, and runners at second and third, and nobody out here in the top of the seventh.
I think that was the guy that Mike Schilt wanted to leave McFarland in for, just to pitch to Hosmer. And unfortunately, he makes a mistake with him. He gets that pitch up in the middle of the plate. Everything normally down from McFarland, getting ground balls, but that was up in his eyes, a line drive, and it looks like Mike Schilt's going to do a double switch.
Paul DeYoung will come in for Sosa, take over at short, and Garcia will come in and pitch in place of McFarland. Still a ways to go here in game one. Padres with 2 on and nobody out when we come back. Bobblehead presented by Purina coming up, and that'll be October 2nd. That's a Saturday. Cubs in town. Cardinals.com/promotions. Luis Garcia, 24 1/3 innings. Scoreless baseball is streak right now. Andrew Chafin also had a scoreless streak that long, so the second longest in baseball. Jacob deGrom had 31 consecutive innings, and Garcia's got his work cut out for him here.
Several things to like about Garcia. High 90s, 100 miles an hour, that's one. Good command's another. And the most stunning thing about him is how he was even remotely available. Has a lot of experience, several years in the big leagues. And the Cardinals took a chance on him, and boy, was that a good idea. Wow.
It's been lights out. There's Austin Nola with 2 on and nobody out. And Nola takes a pitch outside for ball 1. 488 with runners in scoring position. 6 doubles, a home run. He's driven in 28. 0 for 2 tonight. 2 balls and no strikes. Paul DeYoung takes over at short, part of the double switch.
Back to Garcia, off his glove with time, and throws a strike to Goldie.
A sinker.
Yeah, I was going to say. Good movement. 98-mile-an-hour sinker. I wonder if Goldie goes, oh no, on some of these.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, there's the sinker that gets the ground ball, and a little bit of a clank there, but he didn't panic. And took his eye off the ball for a second, and there's the sinker. Good low movement. Goldie makes the play. By the way, on a lighter note, just heard from Terry Pendleton, who's very hurt that I did not watch his home run against
the right?
So apparently, the secret that was supposed to be between you and I got out somehow.
I love it.
One of my favorites.
Wonder if Terry was watching or was told by one of your quote-unquote friends.
I've got Jose Incendo in mind as one of the guys that might have done it. I asked Terry how he found out. He said, I have friends in high places.
There's Trent Grisham, a couple of walks tonight. Arenado is even with the bag and off the line. Cardinals on the infield shift a bit. The 1-0 pitch, way inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, I would think it'd be uncomfortable to have an at-bat against Garcia with the good movement he has, high velocity. Whether you're left-handed or right-handed, I don't know that it matters.
The 2-0 pitch to Grisham. Jake Cronenworth is at the on-deck circle. So there's the answer to the question as to whether or not he'd be available to at least pinch hit.
Cardinals having a hard time throwing a strike to Trent Grisham.
Michaelis walked him twice, and now he walks for a 3rd time, and that will load the bases up. And the tying run will come to the plate.
Defensive plays for the Padres. Batting for the pitcher, Lamet, number 9, Jake Cronenworth.
It's a good player right here,
I
Ricky.
was going to say the same exact phrase. Just he's a baseball player, like what Alan Craig and David Freese were both talking about the 2011 World Series championship team. He said they were just baseball players, all good players. And this guy's that kind of player to me. Does a lot of things well. Tough out.
All-Star suffered a fractured ring finger last Sunday in Los Angeles. And he looks at a strike. Inning started with a single by Tommy Pham. Inside the first base line, Hosmer doubled down into the right field corner. They got Nola, walked to Grisham. Cronenworth has played first, second, short. 20 home runs, second most by a Padres second baseman, 3 behind old buddy Jed Jerko. The 63 runs batted in, 5th most by a Padres second baseman, 14 shy of the club mark, set back in 04 by Mark Loretta. And if that wasn't enough, he has multiple inside the park home runs, a cycle, and oh yeah, he pitched one night and he struck out Mookie Betts. That's a baseball player. And now he's ahead in the count, 2-1.
They're going to give Garcia just a second to catch his breath here. Pretty humid day here in St. Louis, and he seems to be working up a sweat, to be sure, in this inning.
And bases loaded, tough situation for him. And the import of getting Cronenworth out and maybe Profar to follow is you don't really want to get to the point where you're dealing with Tatis and Machado in this inning. Just as soon see them next inning.
The 2-1 pitch. Foul back. And it's 2-2.
The adjustment that Garcia made was he got rid of the 4-seamer and just went to 2-seamers.
So he wasn't throwing the 99-100 up in the zone. That's what he's throwing today. Now, they may be sinkers that he's not getting down in the zone. They may be 2-seamers, but that's what he needs here. A ground ball.
The 2-2. Cronenworth, fly ball, plenty deep. Bader with the catch. And the throw will go to DeYoung. A run will score. 2 runners tag up, and that makes it a 4-1 St. Louis lead.
I will take that trade. Because of Tatis, I will take that trade any day.
Yep.
Getting out number 2.
So runners at first and third. Tatis is on deck, and here is Jurickson Profar, who's 0 for 4 head-to-head with Garcia. Time called. First pitch taken for a ball. Profar is twice grounded out to first and struck out. 0 for 3. Not a lot of offense in this game. 5 hits for the Padres, 4 for St. Louis. Cardinals picked up 3 runs in the first and another in the fourth, and the Padres have just gotten on the board here in the 7th inning. Inside corner, 1-1.
Danny, I really feel like the game may be right here from the Cardinals' point of view. Garcia's not as sharp as he normally is, number 1. And the Padres have gotten closer. They have traffic, and Tatis is up next.
You're right. This could be it. And the 1-1 pitch to Profar. On a play, and it's 1-2. Long look by Garcia, and he steps on.
I'm a little tense myself. I need to stretch. And I think there's about 30,937 people here at the ballpark feel the same way.
The 1-2. Outside corner, didn't get it. 2-2. Oh boy. Yachty walking off, Garcia walking off, and they thought we were going to stretch.
I don't believe I've seen the 2 of them do that before. It was off the plate, right call. Sometimes you get that little extra inch off the corners. Umpires have been told they can give an inch off the corner.
Big pitch right here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Up the middle, base hit. We will see Tatis hit, and a run will score. Cuts a lead to 4-2. Runners at the corners, and here comes Tatis.
Well, if you were tense before this pitch, the tension has gotten worse. There's the pitch. Fastball middle of the plate. Didn't get the call the pitch before. Profar delivers. Game's gotten tighter. And the guy that can do a lot of damage at the plate is Fernando Tatis.
Those 2 runs charged to McFarland closed the book on TJ, and now it's Tatis against Garcia with 2 runners on in a 4-2 game. The first pitch to him, and he looks at a fastball and a strike at 98 on the bottom of the zone. 472 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year. Tatis tonight twice has grounded out to short and also to third. The 0-1. Now 0-2. The 7th man to come to the plate here in the 7th for San Diego. The 0-2 pitch. Popped up. Goldschmidt has it.
Whew. Can I stretch now?
You may. Wild card implications on the line. We stretch 4-2. The drama of a pennant race early on. The crowd on their feet thanks to Tyler O'Neill. Miles Michaelis, very good tonight. The rookie down the stretch starting to heat it up, Dylan Carlson. The Padres, the Cardinals in a 4-2 game. Here in St. Louis, game 1 of this 3-game weekend series.
Ryan Weathers, the lefty, is the new Padres pitcher. Several changes defensively. Cronenworth stays in the game to play shortstop, and that means that Tatis moves from shortstop to right field.
And we've seen Weathers before. We saw him make a start against us. Son of former big leaguer David Weathers.
And the first pitch popped foul by Bader. The Gateway Honda home run inning had a couple of home runs the other night in New York. Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri with a home run. That's something we have been seeing here lately. 7th inning or later, the Cardinals tacking on.
Yes.
That was an aspect of their game this year they have not done all that much of.
Only 4 hits in this game right now.
And strike 2. Weathers considered one of their top prospects, and as Ricky mentioned, a starter earlier this year. We saw his daddy a lot.
We sure did.
Longtime reliever, and a lot of that time in Cincinnati. The 0-2 inside.
You sounded like you almost got hit by it.
And
I saw you get out of the way.
Yeah.
Reflexes are still there, Danny.
Thank you. And the 1-2, 2-2.
I don't remember Weathers throwing with this kind of velocity when we saw him as a starter. Thought he was more 92, 93, but he's at 95, 96 here.
It's 2-2 in 9 relief appearances. And Bader is swinging a miss. And a strikeout to start the home half of the 7th.
I think this was a cutter. There it is. It's a cutter. Late movement. Wow. Ball just took off. Bader started to swing at it when it was a strike, and it was a good 6 to 8 inches off the plate by the time the catcher caught it.
There's Paul DeYoung. And DeYoung gets underneath it, pops it up into shallow left, going out to shortstop Cronenworth, and makes the catch. While we have a moment, quick word from Ryan Kelly.
The only thing faster than the supersonic golf cart is the 21-day closing guarantee. Only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
Tommy Edman, his 40th double of the year, back in the first and scored. And then back-to-back Ks. Looking ahead to the 8th, Machado, Frazier, Pham, Alex Reyes throwing for St. Louis in the bullpen. And Tommy takes a ball low. You see it a lot of times. Guy goes into a relief role and starts to throw harder. They can air it out.
Right.
And I'm with you. He's throwing a lot harder than what we saw earlier this season. A ball and a strike on Tommy Edman. He's 0 for 2 against Weathers.
Luis Garcia, not his dominant self here. He did allow 2 inherited runners to score, but he extends his own personal streak by going another inning without giving up a run.
The 1-2 pitch, and Edman hits a fly ball into shallow right, foul territory. Tatis is there. Cardinals go quietly. Alex Reyes to face the heart of the San Diego Padre lineup when we come back.
Studios coming up after the game. We have Cardinals Live. We'll be joined by Brad Thompson. Brad will break down Miles Michaelis' start tonight, and we'll also show you the Cardinals powering up once again against the Padres. Cardinals Live coming up after tonight's game as we send it back to Bush, to Danny and Ricky.
All right, thank you, Scotty. Chevy Cole to the pen. Alex Reyes.
Well, he's been a part of the big 3 in the Cardinals bullpen, but it was 1-2-3. Now it's 1-3-2. Alex was closing games. Now he's in front of Gallegos and seems to have regained his confidence again and pounding the strike zone a lot better.
Maybe a defining series for the Cardinals, and maybe a defining series for this guy, Alex Reyes in New York. The extra inning game got the key double play. Struck out the side with the game on the line in the 8th. Prior to that, and now Machado, 0-2.
All I know is the top of the 7th inning. I think this literally is all I know, Dan. The top of the 7th inning took too long, and the bottom of the 7th inning didn't take long enough.
As you mentioned, Cardinals have been quiet offensively outside that first inning, really.
First 3 guys had hits and only 1 since then.
The 0-2. A little bit low. Machado is 1 for 3 tonight with a double into the gap in right center. The 1-2 pitch. Backs up and struck him out. A strikeout for Reyes to begin the 8th.
Was not the best of pitches for Reyes. It was a backup slider, and I think that's what Machado's thinking. Yeah, it's probably a strike, but it's a slider that not only didn't slide but stayed on the inside corner. And no hitter can look for that pitch, Dan. When you throw a slider, which is exactly what Alex just did there, you can't figure out quite how to square that up. It's a tough pitch to hit. You can't really plan to throw it either. Just fortunate for Alex, it wasn't in the middle of the plate.
The 1-0 to Frazier. 2 balls and no strikes. On a play, and it's a count now of 2-1. 2-2. Frazier 1 for 3 tonight. Single to right, fly to center, and grounded out against T.J. McFarland with the runner at second. It was back in the 6th inning. The 2-2 inside. Cardinals trying to hold on, pick up their 6th win in a row, and pick up the first win for Miles Mikolas this season. The 3-2 pitch. That catches the outside corner. It's a strikeout. 2 down here in the top of the 8th.
How about that gutsy call? And
wow.
I think Alex actually shook to that. I think Yachty wanted the fastball, and he wanted to throw that slider again. He
struck out Machado with one. This one was a little better, backed up a little bit again, but right on that outside corner. Not sure that wasn't a changeup. It acted as a changeup, let's put it that way. 87 miles an hour, right on the corner.
Tommy Pham struck out his first 2 times up, and then a single inside the first base line, and scored the first run of the night for the Padres back in the 7th.
And this is Cabrera backing up Alex Reyes, with Hosmer due up next.
And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Tommy Pham. Up and in.
You okay, Dan? I thought you were going to fall out of your chair backwards.
See those pitches coming inside. I'm moving with them. Got to be into it.
And you are.
The 2-2. Now a full count on Pham. He's faced Reyes 1 time, 0 for 1.
He's had 2 strikeouts on sliders.
So you go back to it here. The 3-2 pitch. Fouled away. Crowd comes alive here at Busch, and another 3-2 pitch to Pham. Inside corner, and he walked him. And that may be it for Reyes to set up the lefty-lefty matchup. Genesis Cabrera to face Hosmer. We'll see.
First baseman, Eric Hosmer.
Boy, that was a tough pitch to take for Tommy Pham. It was just off the plate, but so close. And it looks like they're going to let Alex Reyes pitch to Hosmer.
Hosmer with 2 hits tonight. And he represents the tying run. The first pitch to Hosmer, still a ways away, and that's going to be it. They were giving Cabrera more time to get loose.
I was trying to figure out who else he could have been up for, if not Hosmer.
This is it.
But this is it.
So the 3-batter minimum, 2 strikeouts and a walk. Cabrera, Hosmer, 4-2 when we come back. On Valley Sports Midwest, brought to you by BJC Healthcare, the world's best medicine made better. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you.
Busch Stadium, the scene, game 1 of this weekend series, the Cardinals and the Padres. With San Diego a half game back of St. Louis for the second wild card spot. Genesis Cabrera. Marchevy called to the pen. The lefty will face Eric Hosmer. And Hosmer represents the tying run.
We've had our share of tension in the last week. A lot of close games, a lot of tying run at the plate moments. Extra inning moment in New York. And we've got it again. Part of pennant race and wild card race baseball.
Runner at first, Tommy Pham, by virtue of the 2-out walk. Hosmer is never faced Genesis Cabrera. First pitch to him, and strike one, 99. It's been very good against the righties, 189, and that shocks me to see 273 by left-handed batters. Mentioned that there could be uncomfortable at bats with Garcia. I think that with this lefty-lefty matchup here. 0-2. The 0-2 pitch to Hosmer. Ground ball, slowly hit. Arenado gloves with time and makes the play. And Genesis Cabrera gets the final out in the top of the 8th. Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Arenado coming up.
It's 6-4 in the ball game, but they lead it 4-2. And the new pitcher is Austin Adams. The Chevy called to the pen. And he'll face Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill, and Nolan Arenado.
Interesting numbers for Adams out of the bullpen. The opponent's batting average is just 159 against him. But he has walked an awful lot of people.
And he's hit a ton.
There's 56 base runners either via the walk or the hit by pitch.
Well, to give you an idea, Adams set the expansion era
single season record for hit batters. That's inside. Expansion era since 1961. That was on Sunday. He had 3 Dodgers. He's hit 23 this year in 49 1/3 innings.
That's hard to do.
In the air, left center. At the wall, and it's off the base of the wall. Goldie to second base, trotting in with a stand-up double, and that's how we start play in the home half of the 8th.
Boy, that could be a big insurance run out there at second base, and another multi-hit game for Paul Goldschmidt.
Tyler O'Neill back in the first inning. Cardinals, a couple of home runs hit tonight. This got him going. Tyler O'Neill with a 2-run blast in his 27th.
I love watching the replay of that and how quick he is to the ball. That was a fastball off the plate in that he dropped the head on, I mean quickly.
Goldie at second. O'Neill taps it foul. So the Cardinals' first 3 hitters of the ball game, Ricky, all reached double, single, home run. Then it's 11 in a row set down by Velasquez, who went 4 innings. Home run hit Dylan Carlson in the 4th. And that double by Goldie, the first hit since back in the 4th for St. Louis. The 0-1 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. Out of play, 0-2. O'Neill is also walked tonight. That home run was part of a 10-pitch at bat. The 0-2. Got him. A strikeout of O'Neill. Giovanni Gallegos throwing in the St. Louis pen, and it brings in Nolan Arenado. Arenado is hitless tonight, 0 for 3. And sitting on 99 runs batted in. Big one out there at second base if he can get it.
You bet.
Head to head with Adams. He is 1 for 1 with a double. 341 with runners in scoring position. The average this year for the Cardinal third baseman. Off the plate and a ball.
And we'll repeat what we said earlier. We have not had a Cardinal drive in more than 100 runs in a year since 2012, and that was Matt Holliday, and he's here.
And very good friends with Nolan Arenado.
He would love to watch Nolan get one here, I'm sure. And I'm a little stunned the Cardinal has not had 100 RBIs since then.
And the 1-0. Now, do they even pitch to Nolan in this spot and set up a potential ground ball double play off the bat of Yadier Molina?
I would walk him.
About.
I would walk him right here.
Yep.
Since it's 2-0, absolutely. Arenado's a good breaking ball hitter.
The 2-0 pitch. Inside, 3-0. You know he's got the green light.
You're a little more hesitant to have intentional walks with a pitcher that walks a lot of batters. You're afraid that that might happen again with the next batter, and now you've got a big inning.
A 3-0. The 3-1 pitch to Arenado inside, and he walked him. So double strikeout, now a walk, and it brings in Yadi, who is 0 for 2 and was hit by a pitch. Molina hitting .311 with runners in scoring position this season.
And lately, and I would say the last 3 weeks, he has been jumping on the first pitch he sees a lot. Right after a walk, you would think Adams is thinking, I need to throw a strike first pitch. He knows his walk total. He knows it's important for him to get ahead. I can see Yadi hunting a pitch middle in right here and letting it fly on the first pitch.
And a buzz now in this crowd. 30,000 plus.
He was hunting. He just missed his target. And it was middle in. He let it fly all right.
The 0-1 pitch to Molina. Nothing in 2. Carlson, the switch hitter on deck. Ross Detweiler, who was just picked up by San Diego, getting loose in their pen, a lefty. Oh, on 0-2, he hung it a bit.
He sure did. Yeah, and he knows he had a pitch to hit there.
The 0-2. Behind him, a wild pitch, and runners now to second and third.
Now, wait a minute.
The Padres going to have to bring the infield in now.
Don't jump to conclusions. That might be a pass ball.
I'm going to stay with the wild pitch.
All right. Let's see. Yeah. I'm going to say if he caught that, that would have been a miracle.
Yachty almost hit for the second time tonight. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Boy, that changes the inning, doesn't it?
Sure does. Infield drawn in.
And you've got a good base runner at third, and Goldschmidt, too, who's aware that another one might be coming.
The 1-2. Hit him. Second time Molina has been hit. Adams just keeps on adding to that total of hit batters, and the bases will be loaded, and that's going to be it, I would think. 24th hit batter for Adams this season. Ross Detweiler with the bases loaded, and Dylan Carlson coming up. Of the Padres, Mike Schilt of the Cardinals. The importance of this game. San Diego half game back of St. Louis. Padres and Cardinals, the importance of this game. San Diego half game back. Old high schools. Ross Detweiler had his number retired, his high school number retired. Then he went and pitched in college at Missouri State. He's bounced around. He's had a nice major league career, and now comes into a tight spot. Grew up a Cardinals fan, a Blues fan,
and his manager went to the University of Missouri.
That's right.
Who just brought him in.
So 1 out, bases loaded. Dylan Carlson at the plate. He's already homered tonight. Carlson's last hit with the bases loaded was the grand slam that he hit in Miami back in early April. Inning started with a double, then a strikeout, a walk, a hit batter, and a 1-0 pitch to Dylan Carlson. Fouled back.
Oh, that was a good pitch. Average better, Danny, against lefties.
Jose Rondon is moved to the on-deck circle. The 1-1. And Carlson sends a fly ball out to deep center. It's at the wall. Grand slam! Grand slam for the rookie. Oh, what a moment here at Busch. first career multi-home run game. And when you do it from both sides of the plate, it's pretty special.
Oh, unbelievable. And we wanted a little bit of insurance in the bottom of the 8th inning, and we got more than that. One swing of the bat, Dylan Carlson straightaway center field, and this crowd went crazy over that.
0-2 on Rondon, pinch hitting the pitcher spot here, which was Cabrera. Cody Whitley has gotten up and starts to throw. Carlson now with the bases loaded this year, 2 for 6, a pair of grand slams, and he's driven in 14. Dylan Carlson with a solo home run back in the 4th. Left side of the plate, and this time a grand slam from the right side. He now has 15 home runs this year as Rondon pops it foul. Dylan has brought in 5, and he's driven in 57 this season.
It took a while for the Cardinals to add on in this game, but they eventually got to it in the 8th inning.
The 1-2 pitch and a strikeout of Jose Rondon. The second out here in the home half of the 8th. The Budweiser play of the game moments ago. Dylan Carlson, his second home run tonight, and this one a grand slam.
Love those smiles in the Cardinals dugout.
Harrison Bader looks at his strike. He is hitless tonight, 0 for 3. And Bader pops it up. Busch Stadium as loud as we've heard it this year, thanks to Dylan Carlson with a grand slam and a curtain call.
And a standing O from the folks out in the bleachers in right center. Nice ovation for him, and a big night for the rookie with a pair of home runs, one on both sides of the plate, and a grand slam.
I noticed that the fans in left field, after Tyler O'Neill hit a home run early, they gave him a standing ovation, and he acknowledged them. And it was Dylan Carlson between innings here as we go to the 9th inning. And nice to get that feedback from your fans. Nice to be back home again, even if just for 3 days.
Chevy call to the pen will take us to Cody Whitley. Last 8 games, the opposition has only hit 111 against him, 9 1/3. And there's high leverage situations in the 9th, in the 8th, and there's some that come in the middle of the game, and they've been using him in those spots.
I think he's joined what was the big 3, and then you add Garcia and McFarland to it. I think Whitley's in that mix now. I think there's a big 6 that Mike Schilt feels pretty comfortable with in high leverage situations, and I'll give him a lot of credit, Dan. He went down to the minor leagues, came back better.
It's been very good. He's throwing hard, mid-90s. He was hitting 96 the other day. He's got that very good changeup.
There are times that players go to the minor leagues and get disgruntled and get frustrated and get lost and get, well, a lot of things. But you can go down there and work hard to get back to who you are and come back better. And he gets a lot of credit for that.
Ooh, just over DeYoung and a leadoff base hit for Austin Nola. I think you also have to look at the way that Mike Schilt has managed this game thus far. Of the standing again of Alex Reyes to pitch in the 8th, Ricky, when you have Machado, Frazier, and Pham coming up. That's 3, 4, and 5 in a tight game.
Yeah. Well, Alex is, I think he's earned his way back into those tough situations, and he's your all-star. Did he have a bad period? Well, what closer doesn't during the course of a season?
I'm with you. Here is Trent Grisham, so the top of the lineup here, or rather the 8th man in their lineup, and then we'll get to the 9 position and top of the lineup if we get there. Cronenworth on deck, and then Detweiler's spot.
Nice to see Grisham get some strikes.
And the 0-2 and a strikeout.
Mentioned it earlier, Ricky. We were talking about it, but it has come to fruition again tonight. The fact that the Cardinals' 7th, 8th, and 9th innings are starting to strike, and it just changes the feel of these games.
And what's interesting is you don't know where it's going to come from necessarily. If I had to say, if you were not at the Cardinal game today and you've been watching them recently, and somebody said, well, they had some big hits late in the game, you might not know who did it. I mean, it could be Goldie, it could be Arenado, it could be Tyler O'Neill. And
Cronenworth on the first pitch pops it up to Paul DeYoung in shallow center.
And tonight it was Dylan Carlson.
Will Myers will come off the bench and pinch hit with 2 outs and a runner at first here in this 9th inning.
$30,000 people have had fun tonight.
Absolutely. Entertaining ball game. And Myers on the first pitch pops it up. Shallow right, and Tommy Edman with the catch and holds on, and the Cardinals have won now 6 in a row. 8-2 the final over the Padres.
Really good start from Miles Michaelis, and the Cardinals able to add on late. And they played long ball again tonight. They've been doing that a lot lately. And the crowd absolutely had a blast at Busch Stadium tonight.
Great win for the St. Louis Cardinals. Jumped out to an early lead. Bent but did not break. And a big night for the rookie Dylan Carlson. Pair of home runs including a grand slam. 8-2 the final. Post game is next.